Namaste, Angels. This is our weekly general reading for the period of Sunday, May 16th through Saturday to come, May 22nd. We're going to get right into it. We're starting with cocktail, massage, and no with the dice. Spirit still says cocktail. Yes. And stay in bed. With the cards, we'll begin with the Knight of Swords in reverse. This card can be about someone maybe not trustworthy coming into your life this week. An energy thief, perhaps. Can also be about information that is not protected. Like you send an email, it's not secure. You send a payment, it's not secure. You say something, on the phone, or you think you're whispering, but it's overheard. Like, information that you're meaning to protect could get out. It's followed by the star upright, and the star represents the sign of Aquarius, and it too can be about communication, but obviously is a lot more positive. But it could still be tied to this, and maybe some information that gets out or something. Maybe it's not bad news. Maybe you just weren't supposed to know it. It's a secret. It's a surprise, perhaps. And it could be something that you really want, prayed for, wished for, dreamed of, set a goal to accomplish, and it's coming through, and maybe you overhear it before you're meant to, or somebody else overhears it that doesn't necessarily mean you well. That could be it. It could be a warning about like announcing things that are going on with you before they're sort of set, because people that with negative energy could aim it at you so that your plans don't work out. It can be something like that. Knight of Swords can also be in reverse like this. Can also be about travel plans that get like delayed or messed up. Could be tied to Mercury retrograde. It hasn't started yet, but Mercury should be in shadow by now because it goes into retrograde on the 29th, which is only like, 10 days away? 15 days away. Yeah, something like that. 14 days away. 14 days away. Or 13, right? This reading is from the 16th. I don't know what's wrong with me today. 16th. So yes, 13 days away would be the 29th. What else do I have for you? The Knight of Swords is potentially a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. Again, like the star represents. And actually, Saturn goes retrograde soon. Maybe right after the period for which this reading, like maybe early next week. So we could be beginning to feel some of that. It goes retrograde in Aquarius was why I stopped there. Also, Jupiter, I think, will be back and forth somewhat between Aquarius and Pisces, but currently located in Pisces. All right, let's shuffle this. Other cards are positive. 6 of Pentacles, 3 of Cups. Knight of Cups. Upright, not in reverse. So maybe you could hear something that makes you happy, makes you smile, makes you want to take some sort of action with regard to something perhaps romantic or emotionally fulfilling, something that will make you happy. Maybe it involves an earth sign also. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Our new overall energy for the reading is the 2 of Pentacles. I'm just going to move this away for a moment. With the Angel and Animal Tarots, I'm going to try to get to them. What's good about this week is that I don't have much to talk about in terms of the calendars and stuff. So I'm going to try to do the Rider-Waite cards as quickly as I can so that I can do another spread that I'm guided to do. We're beginning with the Nine of Cups with these. So this is similar to the Star, actually. It too is about prayers being answered, wishes being granted, and dreams coming true. Your wish comes true, concerns fade away, of a love of life. It's also a yes, particularly as it relates to like love, romantic or relationship questions, yes or no questions. It is a yes when this card shows up. However, it right behind it is the Tower. So somebody could be fearful that maybe they're not going to get a yes. They're worried about something. The Tower can be about one's like inner turmoil for me sometimes, especially when I see the Nine of Swords here behind it. I'm thinking that may be what it is. A significant life event, a powerful revelation that leads to change. It's time to spread your wings. It can also be about that, a powerful revelation. You can come into some clarity, some understanding. Could be tied maybe to the Knight of Swords, the information that is overheard or learned. Maybe it's not your information being leaked. Maybe you're the one that's gaining information that you weren't supposed to get, that you can use to your advantage or something like that. It is followed by the Nine of Swords, which is a card of fear, anxiety, upsetness. Your worries and fears aren't real, though. They're fueled by focusing upon the negative, which gives power to that of which you're afraid. Stop worrying, let go of fear, and everything will be okay. Four of Swords is about a decision, perhaps, that you have to make. Maybe that's what you're worried about, a decision you have to make. It can be about planning for travel. It can also be about like the need for clarity, and so, or to like sit in peace so that you can think and maybe make a decision about something. Thoroughly think things through before making a decision. Meditation, continuing to overanalyze isn't going to get you any closer to a resolution, but meditation, I was skipping to the next line too early, and prayer will bring you the answers you seek. And then look what's right behind it. It's another tower. It's another tower. It's in reverse, but it's another tower. Important changes are coming into your life that will require you to take action. Don't hesitate to move in new directions that you know are right for you. The Nine of Cups and the Tower together can be about some sort of satisfaction that comes from sudden upheaval. Like something falls apart, maybe, and it's a good thing, or it makes you happy, at least, that it happened. And it could be something that was bothering you, and now finally it's over. It's no longer a threat, because it's just sort of falling apart. And that's what this Nine of Cups is about. It's a positive card. It's wish fulfillment. So you could have been wishing for something, and again, I would think it would be a positive thing, not for somebody to be like hurt or something, because it is the Nine of Cups. Maybe a relationship falls apart, or I don't know, something that was set against you. Like in the Bible, it's like no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Maybe the tower is representative of a weapon, something that was built against you and it falls apart. And so you just smile. You ever have those moments? I have them sometimes. I'm sure you've experienced what I'm talking about, where like you get to watch your enemies just fail and it's hilarious. Could be something like that. With the numerology cards, I'm guided to use again. We have leadership. Not to do the same spread as I did the other day, to do a different one. So I guess to look from another perspective, but also with the same cards. I was also shown that when I gave out the advice, this one deck I left out. Like I gave out advice cards from all of these and not from this one. So we'll make sure that we get our messages from this one this time. Spiritual partnership. Spirituality. With spiritual partnership, spirituality, and leadership. So it could be about taking the lead, making an effort, and taking the lead in a spiritual partnership. Not necessarily romantic, but that's possible. patience. This is the energy deck. We'll begin with broken heart. So something this could be tied maybe to the tower, maybe to the upheaval. Whatever fell apart, maybe you did have some sort of connection to it and it hurts. Or maybe you had been hurt and that's why you wanted it to fall apart. That's why it's good that it fell apart, because now it can't hurt you anymore. We do have the angel of balance here. So it's like maybe God evening the scales, evening out the situation. Again, something was weighing heavy on you, so it was out of balance, tilted in something else or someone else's favor against you. And now, again, that's been broken. It's been towered. Angel of balance stepped in to help. And the next card is also upright. It's card number 19. It's called Rest and Rejuvenation. And this card means that now you should have more time available to you for peace and meditation and relaxing and, you know, trying to like find your center and get yourself together. So again, maybe something that collapsed or that was broken. It's possible that you had some sort of feeling about it emotionally, that it did hurt, but that it's still a good thing that it's over. And now you need to rest. I just heard that for somebody it could be like literal. It could be like a physical hurt, some sort of illness or something. Maybe something involving the heart, maybe heart surgery, like you finally made it through, that's over, and now you can get some rest or get some balance. Or that it may have something to do with like an organ that comes in two. Like one had a problem, a lung, a kidney or something. And now it's time for you to get better. And you should have more time to get better. You're expected to continue to get well, is what this is telling me. Number 19 in the tarot is actually the sun. And similarly, when I pull the sun, it's sometimes about physical health and surgeries and things like that too. Somebody may have had literally a broken heart, a broken ticker, as they say, and had to have surgery or some sort of other medical treatment. And now you need to get your rest, and you will make a comeback. To whomever that doesn't apply, as I was saying, more metaphoric for you, or, you know, it applies in some way, something that you experience could, you know, sometimes things are, even though that we know are good for us and that we want to happen, sometimes it's still a little sad, a little painful. So it could be like that, but again, for the best. It looks like the universe or God evening out the scales. The next card is in reverse. It is walking away. So could be leaving a situation alone, or a person alone, or both, combination of both. And that's what caused that. Again, it is for the best. And now you have time for peace and to think and to relax, you know, to meditate or whatever it is you need to do, like on your own. And the thinking man showing up. There were males on both cards. The one that was relaxing and just now the thinking man. And here's another man. He's a man holding a coin. He's in reverse though. Then we have Door to Spirit, which showed up in the upright like this in the moon reading that I did, as did Adjacent Possibilities. We have Action in reverse. I don't know if these cards even have any meaning in reverse, but I think I will actually read it in reverse when I use that. And lastly, from the Magdalena deck, Liberation is the first card, and then Heart and Soul. So you were freed of something that had your heart and or soul like all wrapped up and caught up in it. You were freed of that. So there was like a sudden, again, upheaval that's for the best, for the good. And now you've been freed. You've been liberated from whatever the situation or person is. if it hasn't happened yet, something like that is happening this week. And then we have this nurturing mother energy, Sophia, that comes in. Mythic reality. Sounds like another star, 9 of Cups, something else very positive. Like things that were only imagined, mythical, becoming our reality. Things that we didn't think could come true, that could happen for us, happen. And gratitude. There's a need to be thankful for whatever it is that does come to you this week. And whatever it is, again, can be as a result of some sort of wall coming down, even if it's a metaphoric wall. Something being destroyed, like I talked about in the moon reading. Lord Shiva coming through, knocking everything down to rebuild it. We have crucifixion. This too was in reverse. This deck definitely doesn't have any reversals. And behind it we have serendipity, so signs, synchronicities. Crucifixion is about, persecution, basically. Feeling persecuted or having felt persecuted. And then we have signs and synchronicities here, showing up with serendipity. And things happening like right on time. Very like perfect, divine timing only could make it happen that way. So this is for the Rider-Waite. Again, we're beginning with the 2, or our overall energy this week. Oh, look, the Knight of Swords is back. He's up right now. And he's followed by the Queen of Swords, who's in reverse. The 2 of Pentacles in reverse can be about like having too much on your plate or feeling like you can't deal. And maybe that's why there's some sort of upheaval. Maybe you knock everything down. Maybe you say, I can't do this all. And then you dump it and then you feel good. It's a sudden, like, I'm glad I got that off my plate, or I'm glad I cut myself off from that toxic person, or, something like that could be what happens this week. So far with the cards that are coming up. But we're going to pull a couple more, 6 more to be exact, beginning with the one that will most directly represent us this week. And it is the 8 of Cups in reverse. So another card potentially about walking away from something, or cutting something off or someone off. Surrounding energy, we have the Hermit. Remember I said there may be something involving an earth sign, a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. The Hermit represents the sign of Virgo, and he's going to be here in our surrounding energy. So it could be an actual person that's around you, maybe specifically not only an earth sign, but a Virgo. This is also a need to be like the thinking man, and perhaps to, find some peace so that you can do some introspection and going within and meditation about yourself and your next move and all those things. In the position of work and finance, we have the 10 of Swords in reverse. And this could be tied to that information or overhearing something, or some sort of setup or something, but we'll get more into that in a minute. Love and relationship. Wow, 5 of Swords. Physical health. Queen of Pentacles in reverse. And spiritual health, very nice. All about the Jupiter. Wheel of Fortune upright. Oh. Can we see all those? I think so. So let's get into it. So going straight to the 8 of Cups. I think we talked about the 2 of Pentacles in reverse enough, at least for the moment. This card, as I mentioned, can be about walking away from something that no longer served us, suits us. Maybe walking towards something better. But even if it doesn't, even if we don't feel like we're taking that kind of action this week, whatever we have experienced, and this can definitely be tied to, the cards that we started looking at in the beginning, and some sort of upheaval, something falls apart, something ends, perhaps on its own, or you do walk away from something, and so it's causing an end. Whatever. The best is yet to come, is what the Eight of Cups in reverse shows up to say. It wants you to know that like renewed good times, um, lie ahead. Don't have that feeling of, like it's all over with whatever else is ending. The best is yet to come. Also, if your gut is telling you that you really need to get out of a relationship, job, or like living condition or arrangement, then you should really trust yourself. And instead of this like coming out of the blue or someone or something leaving you, it usually means that you are the one who will make the choice. And looking at some of these other cards, that can definitely be the situation that's coming up. Very often, one door has to close before another one can open at or fully open if at all. And so we have to make some sort of move. So surrounding us, as I mentioned, we have the knight, the knight of hermit. We have the hermit. No such thing as the knight of hermit. We have the hermit. Very spiritual card, similar to the Hierophant and the High Priestess. I mean, this is like the High Priest, basically, or one version of it. The Hierophant also I count as the High Priest. And or this is like a priest, not the high priest. The Hierophant's the high priest, and this is like a priest or a monk. Um, but very spiritual. It can have to do with like institutions, large organizations. So some dealing that we're having with that, or that somebody close to us is having with something like that. It can be about a church. Sometimes he comes across as a lawyer for me, so maybe a court. Something legal is happening, but whatever the case, um, and even if you're an atheist, I mean, it's a spiritual card. It's not a religious card. So spirit can like tie or equate to like emotions and stuff. And you may be having a hard time trying to figure out like what is the truth about someone or something, some matter in your life. This could be tied to that Knight of Swords that was in reverse in the beginning. It says that like don't feel like you have to do it all. You have to figure this out all on your own. You can ask for help, and whether that means 3D help and asking somebody that's around you, or it means 5D help and again getting into meditation, doing some introspection, taking some time to try to find a place of clarity. Again, that card from the energy deck, card number 19, Rest and Rejuvenation, says that you should have more time for yourself with which to do that once this other thing occurs. So there's that. Um, in terms of work, again, this is surrounding energy, so maybe somebody close to you is nearing the point where like their work success and recognition are close. They haven't gotten the recognition maybe that they deserve just yet, or they haven't reached the level of success that they are meant to just yet, but it is close. And so they should continue to do their best to be organized and productive, and it will pay off, even if it's not like clear yet how, or that someone's watching. It's possible that nobody's watching, but you're still guided to do the right thing, even if nobody's watching, because um, you know the energy, like this, like the world, the spirit knows. I'll put it that way. Um, but moving to the Ten of Swords in reverse, it does look like something not so good is happening with somebody's job, and so going back to the Hermit again, I just said somebody may want to leave their job. I mean, they feel like they need to leave their job, and that is quite possibly the case for someone this week. This card indicates that there are serious problems in your workplace. It doesn't have to be like the end of the world or anything, or even the end of your job, but these are like issues or problems that cannot be ignored. Well, you can ignore them, but they won't go away, right? Until they're dealt with. And it's like you've reached the point where you can see in a more clear way. So again, this could be tied to that air energy, Knight of Swords, Queen of Swords. See in a more clear way. Your thinking is more clear as to what kind of step you need to do, but you might need to take more like quiet time to decide what your next moves are, and figure out like, well, is it best that I, put up with this, tolerate this, and stay where I am, or should I be looking for work? Am I looking in the right places? If I'm already looking for work, all that kind of thinking. In terms of finances specifically, not necessarily tied to work, it can indicate that you have taken some sort of like important steps to improve your financial situation. It was 10 of Swords upright. It was bad, Um, Now these daggers can like fall out, right? Because they're upside down. Um, so this is a good thing. It's easy to fall back into old habits though. So make sure that you remain like vigilant and careful and stay on track. And again, pay attention to um, communications and like secure networks and stuff when you're entering your social security number or your credit card. Oh, you know what it could be tied to? And see, some of y'all know that I have my background, well, by trade, by profession, is in accounting. And I guess I would be very remiss if I did not remind and or inform perhaps um, those listening that Monday's tax day in the United States. It was extended. It's normally April 15th, and we were given an extra 30 days or so. And so the new day is Monday, where you have to send in your returns or send in the form that indicates that you are applying for an extension. But you got to do something, right? If the government's expecting potential money from you. So maybe it's that. And maybe, when you're over a secure network or not, maybe you got to make sure you use the right software, all this kind of stuff. That your things are mailed properly. I don't know. I just want you to take care with this kind of energy that's popping up. But again, if you're working on your finances, you're doing a good job. You've taken the right steps to improve them. Keep doing it. Moving on to love and relationship, we have the Five of Swords upright, and unfortunately, this card in the context of love, pretty certainly says that like conflict is near, and it's pretty much like a done deal, a definite thing. Even though this is not even like major arcana, it's just a five. Things may not work out as you'd hoped in a love relationship. Also, it's important to like remain calm, think calmly, carefully about what are your deal breakers in a relationship. And maybe this is tied to that broken heart. What are your deal breakers? What are you willing to take and not take? If somebody is completely like disrespecting you, do you just stay around? You may find yourself needing to consider that. Be honest with yourself first, and then be honest with the other person, and make sure that you both like are accepting reality. And this other person, maybe if he has anything to do with this hermit, maybe an ex. Maybe you decided Mercury retrograde can bring back the exes too. Maybe you decided you wanted to try again, or they decided they wanted to try again, and they contact you, and you're trying to figure it out, whether it's worth it or not. So you may find yourself conflicted, maybe not in conflict with them, but conflicted, because the hermit for love is whether upright or in reverse tends to be about a relationship from the past attempting to be like rekindled. So moving on to physical health and the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. This possibly involves an actual Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, or someone like into those traits or attributes. But the card is more so about you probably being concerned or busy about the business of taking care of everyone else's needs without allowing yourself the time and space that you need in order to function well. So again, this can be tied to that Tower and Nine of Cups. And like I said, a satisfactory upheaval where you just say, that's it, I can't take it anymore. I'm not doing your stuff, I'm not doing your stuff, I'm not doing your stuff. And, again, in one sense, it can cause a heartbreak and be sad that you had to pull yourself away from people, or maybe not be as dependable as you normally are, or, whatever. But on the other sense, it's like, okay, like I got my freedom back. I got my time back. I got my peace of mind back. Like now I can go take a nap instead of worrying about somebody else's business. So, Yeah, that's what she's about. Queen of Pentacles, nurture yourself. And remember, we had this here that talks about having a lot on your plate, like maybe too much to manage. And you just feel overwhelmed and tired of it. So I think they're related. And somebody may blow, or a few somebodies may blow, may find themselves at their limit this week. And last but not least, we have the Wheel of Fortune, which represents the planet Jupiter, which again is located in the sign of Pisces right now, rules the sign of Sagittarius, is also tied to the fixed signs Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, Leo, and textbook tarot maybe not so good in this position of, well, I won't say not so good. Textbook tarot in this position, it means that we can't like blame other people for everything. You might say, well, what does that have to do with spirituality? Well, it's like we have to, it's about accepting that things that happen in our lives. So this is like about this sort of elevated thinking and right metaphysical thinking. Things that happen in our lives are it rarely just happen, if at all. I personally don't believe in like mistakes or coincidences and stuff. But if you do, they don't happen often, right? They rarely happen, just happen out of nowhere stuff. And so for us to be, a truly blameless victim is also going to be rare. So this is about like accepting whatever your fair share responsibility is in any given situation, and understanding that like our mind, our words, our thoughts, these things have power and can lead to our reality. Like remember like the card Mythic Reality. Our minds, like that saying, I think therefore I am. What you Descartes, right? What you envision, if you hold it as an intention, this is what we believe as spiritual beings, and people who believe in things like the law of attraction and stuff. And so this is about not quite being there in terms of the law of attraction, and maybe conveniently, like when it comes to you, and things that happen to you, you conveniently forget that you had the ability to affect that, and instead you blame other people. So this is about getting you back on to a place where you acknowledge, okay, I had responsibility. I could have, attempted to manifest something different. I could have used better words about myself or my situation that maybe would have caused a better outcome. I could have reacted to a karmic energy that I had no control over in a different way, because I always have control over me. It's about that sort of thinking. So an elevated thinking, that's how it's spiritual. But another thing is Jupiter, and this is not textbook. This is me. Jupiter is sort of like this. Well, I mean, not sort of. It is. It's very large, sort of daddy-like planet, and with it being connected to the fixed signs, particularly like Aquarius and Scorpio, gives it a very and being located in Pisces right now is giving it for me a very like psychic kind of feel. And so I think that it's also about clarity and revelations that into which you will come this week, and it will be like a jackpot, like a lucky thing that, oh, I'm so glad I understand this now. I'm so glad I figured this out, because now I can decide like what my next move is in a situation. And that's what I have for you here. So I'm going to get to that other spread I wanted to do. I feel like I still spent more time doing that than I wanted to, but I'll take these away for now too. And these. We will do a good old Queen of Swords square of 9. Magic number 9. Maybe we'll get to see like an actual situation that'll come up, scenario, and how to deal with it, or I don't know what we're going to see. But I'm just guided to do this spread for you. With the same cards that I used for the moon reading. So maybe some other messages are meant to be revealed. Crown the masculine, we have cornucopia and spiritual career. I mean, this is about bounty. So he could definitely be finding some sort of success this week in a spiritual career or through someone else's business. Like maybe he goes to see somebody that, I don't know, reads tarot or works with crystals or was a life coach or something. And that it causes some sort of breakthrough for him that can lead to abundance for him if it's not his own job. But he could really very well be getting into some sort of spiritual practice that can pay off in a very literal way for him. Surrounding him, we have creativity, which should definitely be tied to that spiritual work. Using your creative outlets and means is what 3s are all about, to help to bring about abundance to yourself. That's totally what 3s are meant for. And it's door to personal healing and happiness. So it's like you, again, using your own means, your own mechanisms to bring about this abundance in your own life. Abundance comes in many forms. It can definitely come in the form of happiness and healing in a situation. We got rainbows, we got doves. This is finding our peace. I mean, that would definitely be, an abundant feeling, a successful feeling, if you see what's in this card. Some nice week so far for the masculine. A lot of gold surrounding him too. And then we have spiritual partnership attached to man holding a coin. So again, there could be something coming up. We just saw potentially the Hermit, Earth sign. We saw the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. This was in reverse just now too. Possibly trying to make some sort of comeback in a relationship. It may be a romantic partnership, or it could be tied to this career. For the feminine, we have envy, like jealousy attached to love. This is like an ugly energy. It was in reverse, so we could be moving beyond some sort of it's like an ego, like a prideful thing that I'm feeling, but also it could just be, basic jealousy attached to a love relationship, partner, interest. Yeah, we're surrounded by the man holding a heart. So he's like, you have our heart in your hands. And I wish you'd show me some love, some compassion, but I see you, doing otherwise with it, and that's upsetting me. Yin Yang, 22. It's like 1304, 1111, attached with forgiveness. So like we can find balance and happiness if we're also able to find forgiveness. Again, there might need to be a need of release of pride or ego on the part of the feminine this week, associated with a man holding a heart. It doesn't have to be an actual man, but somebody to whom you have some sort of emotional connection. And maybe this is where it comes into play, where you have to acknowledge your own responsibility in a situation and you can't blame everything on them. And so you can't just walk around mad. You're mad, but it's like, well, if you had taken some initiative and maybe told them how you feel, then they wouldn't be giving their attention to someone else or to something else. There could be different scenarios there. Crowning, we have the Angel of Strength, and we have Happy Ending. So, of course, this represents the energy of Leo. We have a big lion here. The Strength card in the Tower represents the energy of Leo, and we have Happy Ending. So you have the strength and ability to face whatever comes your way, and if you do, and if you face it confidently without and not from a place of ego or envy, jealousy, pride, or for the masculine, if you approach your the business dealings in a positive way, you're thinking positive thoughts, you're speaking positive words over yourself, and you're manifesting that kind of reality for yourself, you have the ability for it to work out, for the ending to be happy. At the root of foundation, so like what spurred all this, it was impatience, having the patience to, allow things to build and to finally manifest. So it's like, now it's here, now we're here. And at the heart of the matter this week is the thinking woman and rebirth. The thinking woman, she's like a bookkeeper. She's like a bookkeeper. She even has books in her hand. Or maybe like a librarian type. Positive. She can be helpful to you. She may help you toward your rebirth, whether again it's in the financial way or it has to do with love and relationship. This sort of energy, and it can be your own energy, but thinking maybe and realizing and finding clarity and being open to facing reality can lead you to allowing something to come to its natural end, even if it's just an aspect of yourself and a transformation, and allowing for a rebirth, a fresh start. And again, for the masculine, it looks very abundant in a material way, and for the feminine, it looks a little bit more romantic, but still positive nonetheless. And all of these things can be tied to, again, something falling apart or, being destroyed so that something new or better can be rebuilt in its place. And that's attached to rebirth as well. I said I might read this action card in reverse. If I do, that would be inaction. So again, maybe like I said, you didn't take initiative. Is what I was getting from here, particularly for the feminine. Failing to take initiative is probably what led to whatever situation you're dealing with this week, and so you got to face the reality of your portion of the responsibility. For further advice for the masculine, he just keeps winning. Literally, he's got victory. His card is victory. For the feminine, we have 7th chakra with Archangel Uriel. So the 7th chakra is the crown chakra. So it's like more thinking woman, and you've got to think, and you've got to like visualize things the way they are, and again, like face reality and like big girl pants, and then figure out what you can do to fix the situation, whatever situation you're in. But I think, again, it's going to be about releasing negative emotions and allowing for the rebirth, allowing for yourself to transition into a better energy. Masculine has got family here. Well, he'll certainly be able to, looks like, provide for his family this week, and maybe for many weeks to come, because it looks like he's starting something that is going to continue to be fruitful, a cornucopia. This is a practice that this week is not going to be the only week that he sees a benefit from it. This is unless he uses his free will to decide not to put any effort into it and go any further. But if he does put that effort into it, if he, uses it, his strength to his advantage in this area, he will be able to continue to provide for his family with this, whatever is happening with him. Feminine, what might help you? Focusing on a color. acknowledging what or noticing what color is standing out to you this week and exploring what it could be about, what it could mean. Or you may want to focus specifically on the violet ray, the seventh ray, the seventh chakra, and maybe heal in that area to help you to find more clarity and be more willing to, or more able to see like the truth versus what might not be reality. From the numerology deck for the masculine, we have healing, and he did have a card that said that he was right at the door to personal healing and happiness. So this is very nice for him to have as well. For the feminine, you've got music, and I just heard what's that saying? I just heard it in my head. Face the music. So it's tying into, again, facing reality, facing some sort of responsibility of your own, acknowledging your position in something. And then it could have a second meaning of serendipity, signs and synchronicities through music this week for you. That may be one of the places through which your clarity comes. You might get a message through some sort of clairaudience. Masculine, it's another Eight of Cups for you. So again, leaving something behind, maybe being broke, maybe not having a job, maybe not having focus, not using your creative outlets. All of these things are possible, but leaving that behind, and the best is yet to come. The best is ahead. You feel that there's something more that there's more to life than what you're living. So it's time to move on. You may be moving from a situation that isn't good for you, or perhaps you're being drawn to what would make you happy. Either way, you are in control. Feminine, from the same deck, we have the Magician. You have the ability to manifest. You cannot blame whatever you're going through all the time on other things or other people, because you had the ability to think thoughts or to speak words over yourself and all that stuff too, and you still do. And you have it. Specifically this week, with the Magician showing up, represents the sign of Gemini. There is magic in the air, and you can manifest everything you need to be successful. So no reason for you to not be successful. Masculine, more victory for you. It is now the Six of Wands, joining all these other cards that were very clearly victories for you, including one that's called Victory. And lastly, for the feminine, all right, so, not as exciting as the masculines, but it's saying don't give up. Like, all is not lost for you. There is an opportunity for you to, again, turn your situation around to a very positive one, and you can be a winner too. Don't give up. Protect that which you've created. Have courage and believe in yourself. Hope you guys have enjoyed the reading. Please do like, share, subscribe, comment, all those things. If you would like to stick around, again, there's not much going on in the calendar this week that I'm going to talk about, but I am about to pick up my computer. I was just, I had put the boxes of cards on top of it, so just moving those out of the way. Got the computer on my lap now, signing in. Did you hear it? Ding, ding. I got my volume low today. I don't know if you heard it. So on the religious calendars, the Muslim holidays, they just occurred. We had Ramadan came to an end, so it's followed by Eid. Eid is the feasting celebration that follows the fasting. And we finished on the Christian calendar. We're waiting for the Pentecost, really, which is next week. It's the 23rd. So it's next Sunday. On the Hebrew calendar, however, as I mentioned, we have finished counting the 49 days of the Omer, and so now it is time for a Hebrew something to happen, and it's the new month. The month of Shavat begins on the 17th, because the 16th is the last day of the counting of the Omer. It is day 49. So what is Shavat? It is a 2-day holiday beginning at sundown, following the 5th of Sivan, and lasting until nightfall on the 7th of Sivan, which is May 16th through the 18th this year. In Israel, it's a 1-day holiday, but here in America, it is a 2-day holiday, and it commemorates, Shavuos, or Shavat means weeks. So it's a celebration of the completion of the 7-week counting of the Omer, between Passover and the month of Shavat beginning. And the reason they were doing all that is because now is the time, when, in traditional Hebrew history, Jewish history, that the Torah was given by God to the Jewish people at Mount Sinai. It was done during the month of Shavat, so more than 3,300 years ago. So every year on the holiday of Shavat, we renew our acceptance of God's gift, and God re-gives the Torah. So it's like a rebirth in that sense too. And also, many people, Hebrew people, Jewish people, view this as like an oath or contract or even a marriage between the people and God. And this is a month also where a lot of marriages and contracts and things traditionally happen, in the 3D in general too, with non-Jewish people and Jewish people alike. So we also may be finding ourselves, again, renewing some sort of contract, or again, starting a new, which I think is more likely, and again, tied to rebirth. But it could all be based on that energy of Shavuot. So that's that. Moving on to the planetary calendar, nothing really big to talk about here either. So we start with the 16th. There's nothing. May 19th, which is Malcolm X's birthday, by the way, at 3:12 p.m. or like 3:03. Well, that's a little interesting. 3:12 p.m. we experienced the first quarter moon, 29 degrees Leo, so 11. Maybe that's what the strength is about. I wonder if some of us will experience this, whatever it is we're going to experience, particularly on the 19th of the month. With that first quarter moon. It's like a new start, right? That's a perfect day for like a birth. Then on May 20th at 3:37 p.m., the sun enters Gemini, 0 degrees Gemini. And that's it for the week. So, again, I hope you enjoyed the reading and that you have a great week. I'll be back with love. Namaste.